Did Brandy Stewart-Sperry intentionally create a distraction and help ambush a police officer, or was she unwittingly used by the shooter as a shield? Different versions of events the jury will have to consider when they start deliberating at the first-degree murder trial over the death of OPP Constable Greg Pierchala. And a warning, this story includes video from the officer's body camera taken before the shooting. CTV's Krista Simpson joins us now with what the jury heard today as we get closer to the start of those deliberations. Krista.
Tony, yesterday we heard from the Crown and from Randall Mackenzie's defense. Mackenzie has pleaded not guilty. The Crown is trying to prove that he is the shooter that killed Constable Greg Pierchala. Now, Mackenzie's co-accused, Brandy Stewart-Sperry, admits to being there when the shooting happened. But her lawyer argues there's no evidence she knew ahead of time that an officer could be shot or that she helped with his killing. In the Crown's closing submissions, prosecutor Fraser McCracken urged jurors to find Brandy Stewart-Sperry guilty of first-degree murder, calling her Randall Mackenzie's partner in crime. The Crown alleges her role was to distract Constable Greg Pierchala so the shooter could ambush the police officer. The jury has seen body camera video of the moments before the shooting, where Stewart-Sperry briefly raises a blanket above her face, then begins to answer a question posed by the officer.
I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
Okay, I was looking at the navigation.
Yeah.
And I just swerved off. So I was looking at the navigation.
The shooter then fires multiple times. Stewart-Sperry's lawyer, Scott Reed, argued there isn't evidence that Stewart-Sperry was speaking to the shooter behind the blanket, or if she was, what she said. Instead, Reed argued the shooter stepped behind Stewart-Sperry as he reached for his gun. He's using her as an unwitting shield, Reed said. He's using her to block the officer's view. Reed also said there's no evidence that Stewart-Sperry knew that the shooter had a gun. The jury has seen texts Mackenzie sent to two people about a plan to shoot out with cops, but neither of the recipients of those messages were Stewart-Sperry. Reed also pointed to consistent testimony from several civilian witnesses who stopped at the scene of the car in the ditch and said Stewart-Sperry appeared to be impaired by drugs and did not seem to be thinking coherently. Toxicology tests also showed various drugs in her blood, including 3 separate central nervous system depressants that can cause side effects like sedation, confusion, and decreased alertness. The Crown has cited Stewart-Sperry's conduct after the shooting as evidence of her guilt, noting she fled with the shooter in a stolen truck, tried to cover up the license plates with blankets, and she was with Mackenzie in the woods until just a few minutes before her arrest. Reed argued you can't assume how someone will behave in this situation. He described her running into the woods with Mackenzie, stupid decision, mistake to be sure, but in a panicked state and high on drugs, perhaps an understandable one. He also noted that Mackenzie had a loaded gun on him during this time. What would you do? Probably exactly what she did, help him get away. Reed asked the jurors to find Stewart-Sperry not guilty. Like all of us, Brandy is flawed. She may have many flaws, but being a killer is not one of them. Reed reminding jurors the standard to convict is beyond a reasonable doubt. In Stewart-Sperry's case, he suggested there's an overwhelming doubt. This afternoon, the judge began his instructions to the jury outlining the rules of law and what they can and cannot consider when they begin deliberations. Justice Andrew Goodman will finish his charge tomorrow. It's expected the jury can start deliberating around lunchtime or just after. They will be sequestered until they reach a unanimous verdict for each of the 2 accused. Tony.
And we'll keep an eye on those proceedings. Krista Simpson with the latest on that trial. Thank you, Krista.